All right, we'll call this regular session of the City Council to order January 18th, 2024 at 6 p.m. At Oak Ridge City Hall. First order of business is the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You. Jackie, would you call the roll, please?
Yeah. Councilor Coker. Councilor. I'm sorry.
She may be late. Sorry.
Okay. Councilor Bjarnson.
Here.
Councilor Tarman.
Here.
Councilor Brewer.
Here.
Mayor Cutchin.
Here.
Councilor Kenyon.
Here.
Councilor Hollett.
Here.
All right, except for Councilor Coker. We'll look for her to come a little bit later. Next, it would be additions, corrections, adjustments to the agenda. James is 11.1. Press move till 2-1. Yes. Okay. Any councilors have any recommended changes to the agenda? Okay, and I have none. 5 is public comment. Before we get started, I'm going to read a written public comment that the city administrator received. This letter is from Robert E. Moore, and he is from Oak Ridge. I take it he probably lives on School Street. Mr. Clevenger, the holidays are over, and I am putting together why I believe it is important the city of Oak Ridge install speed bumps along School Street. Speed bumps / humps are one of the most effective ways to improve street safety. When placed and installed correctly, these street accessories can help reduce driver speeds and improve everyone's safety. What to consider between a speed bump and a speed hump? School Street is prone to excessive speeding. On numerous occasions, I have witnessed cars, commercial vehicles, logging trucks, quads, and motorcycles doing wheelies. There was one orange quad flying a rebel flag, which is a habitual offender. Additionally, there is pedestrian traffic, bicycles, skateboarders, children playing, and in wheelchairs. Those individuals in wheelchairs use the street because the sidewalks are broken due to the tree roots pushing up the concrete separating the sidewalks. This condition is hard for pedestrians as it is a tripping hazard. Speed bumps are designed to cause a more abrupt reduction in speed than a speed hump. They are typically taller than speed humps, 4 to 6 inches in height, and cover a shorter distance. Due to this design, speed bumps cause vehicles to slow down to 5 miles per hour or less. Speed humps cause a slight rocking motion in vehicles that drive over it and are generally shorter in height, about 3 to 4 inches. Speed humps are designed to reduce the speed of vehicles to around 15 to 20 miles per hour. Installing speed bumps or humps will bring about a reduction in speed, thus helping to prevent speed-related accidents between vehicles and pedestrians. Additionally, according to the National Institute of Health, speed bumps / humps have also led to a 53 to 60% reduction in the odds of automobile injury or death among children. This will reduce time for our police to enforce speed limits. I submit this as a citizen of Oak Ridge and hope you will take this plea into consideration. Thank you, Robert E. Moore. So James, would you mind having OPD and Public Works just put together a quick staff report on costs and effectiveness of both of those bumps or humps for next session? Thank you. All right, so we'll open it up to public comment in the room. Anyone in the room have a public comment? Nope. All right, anyone on the Zoom have a public comment? Ms. Hammond, please.
Good evening. Trudy Hammond, Oak Ridge, Oregon. I would like to give a shout out to the Oak Ridge Police Department and City of Oak Ridge for the assistance in animal welfare that has been happening lately. I so much appreciate that. I'm looking online for public record request forms, which I'm not able to find. So how do I go about getting one of those? And police incident forms. If those two forms could be available online, that would be super, super helpful. Thank you.
Thank you. And James, I believe public records are still or online still?
They are.
Yeah.
So if someone goes to the city website, in the upper right hand corner, there's a search bar, and if they type in the search bar public records request,
Okay.
should pop up.
And if you
Sorry, I tried that. Sorry, I tried that.
Okay, well, they are there because they're coming through with you.
Okay.
Near the top of, or just a little bit down from the very top of the screen, the farthest to the right has a drop down menu, and I believe it's in there.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. And if you could see if the chief has his incident reports online or
That's
forms.
the same system.
Okay.
She's requesting those.
Okay. Perfect. Any other public comment either in the room or online? Okay, nothing heard. Moving on. 6 is mayor comments, announcements, proclamations. I have none. 7 is council comments or announcements. Councilor Kenyon.
Yeah, I wanted to state my support for the idea that the citizens submitted in for speed humps. I've been in 2 areas that have those, and they're very effective, in my opinion. I also wanted to make comment on the attendance and absences that were mentioned in the state of city address 2 weeks ago. Our mayor said that he considers one of the measures of effective council attendance of an effective council is the attendance. And he stated that there were 33 absences during the last year, making our record 85%. However, I reviewed the minutes from every meeting and found that there were actually only 17 absences from all those meetings, making our record actually 92%. I'm not sure why the real number of absences was almost doubled in this report, but I feel it's a disservice to our community because of the implication that their council is not as committed to being here and doing the work. And I think we are.
Okay, thank you. All right, any other council comments or announcements? Okay, on to the consent agenda. Do I hear a motion?
I move to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second.
All right, motion made by Councilor Brewer, second by Councilor Hollett. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, motion passes. Item 9, appointments. Do we have nothing? All right, we're on the executive session. James, how are we going to handle it just as we did last?
Yes, we're gonna try to do a breakout room or whatever we are. We're gonna physically go back room.
Okay, so this council is moving into executive session under ORS 192.6602E. And that is to conduct deliberations with persons designated by the governing body to negotiate real property transactions. The folks will be gone, hopefully not too long, and back soon to get on with the rest of the agenda. Thank you.
Remember to turn the. That's fine. Whatever you need to do for that, but turn the volume down on here so that can't be heard. Oh, okay. Yeah.
I'll try to do something before you get up this time. All that stuff. Not the one that has a number and zero the number. That three numbers on it, that's one of them. Yeah. Yeah. That why I wonder now. Okay, you do that first. You want me to do it in one plate? On each plate? But the, around small, you don't have. And then the product with it. And pretty thin bottom. I put that in the bottom. Oh. So it goes for a while, it's in that, and it's like a tiger and everything. You go to be ready. What is it, blueberry? Do you ever put blueberry? We have some, but the bird didn't. They didn't just before they're. Well, I have 9 of them. And I put it in, I could, but there's only like 3 or 4 points. I don't like them. But you know, I've never really done it. Well, it is, so I tried this stuff 2 years ago. And probably it's a pasture fertilizer, whatever, and the dog, I don't know. They could sell it, put it out, put it like a fish factory, and it would be bad for an animal. And and so it labs, she knows, I'm gonna put it right on. Do that, that's bad. I like it, I like it. But, and we just got the river hose out there, and it was on the bit opposite, and we got gravity deep water plus 11. And so we put the gravity system. And I thought, for an hour, like this. And you know, it's yeah, and pretty simple. And pretty soon it's made by take off. It takes them a while. I've got someone here before that.
a quick question. So I did miscalculate. It does come to 120,000. I was like, but that still comes to 48,000. No, sorry, I was wrong.
It's probably a residential fencing, so probably even more than that, but yeah, same as how it reaches. Yeah, it would be a lot.
Good to go? Recording? All right, call this meeting back into regular session. Are there any motions coming out of executive session that like to be made?
I'd like to move that we direct our city administrator to continue negotiations on the lot 37 offer.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, motion made by Councilor Kenyon, seconded by Councilor Tarman. Any discussion by council? Okay, the motion was to direct the city administrator to continue negotiations on the sale of lot 37. Jackie, would you call for a vote, please?
Counselor Brewer,
Aye.
Counselor Kenyon,
Aye.
Counselor Hollett,
Nay.
Counselor Tarman,
Aye.
Mayor Cutchin,
Aye.
Counselor Bjornson,
Aye.
All right, motion carries.
is Counselor Coker still not here?
Let's see here.
Okay. Thank you.
Moving on, it's item 11, business from the city council. 11.1 we've deferred to the next meeting. And we're down to 11.2, which is the Oak Ridge Westboro Chamber of Commerce RTMP TRT funding request. James?
All right, so we have a request in front of us from the Oak Ridge Westford Chamber of Commerce. Chamber President Michelle Emmons is here tonight to answer questions. They're requesting $5,650 from TRT and or RTMP funds for their operating costs for this calendar year, 2024. Our current balance in RTMP is about 30,000. TRT is over 20,000. In years past, last year they received $10,000 TRT funds. In 2022, they received $14,000 TRT funds. As I explained in agenda bill, they have some ideas to potentially hire a part-time tourism director chamber, present at the RTMP TRT committee. Some concerns were expressed about potential legal issues on that. So at the next TRT RTM meeting on Tuesday, February 13th, we have Jennifer Solano from Lane County who administers RTM funds, and Conor Nolan from Travel County will be in attendance to explain the rules on that. But what we have now is general operating expenses for the chamber. I can remind folks that Chamber President Michelle Emmons is here. Questions you may have for her.
Okay, so I hear a motion.
I move to table this topic to the second meeting in February.
That's good.
All right, motion made by Councilor Kenyon, seconded by Councilor Hollett. Any discussion?
Yeah, I would just point out that the reason is because specifically that we have those two people coming to the RTMP TRT committee next month to share with us what is able to have TRT and RTMP funds expended on. And I think that's important.
Well, I guess I'll ask Ms. Emmons. I know you operate pretty close to the bottom of the on your budget. Is this a sort of something to get by until you get to the more information on the rest of it, or if you,
Mayor, I object
how so?
because we're in the middle of a motion.
We're in discussion after the motion had been made. I have a
Right.
right to ask questions of the council president, do I not?
Of the chamber president.
Yes.
Actually, you have argued that we should not have conversations with.
Just, sorry, I just, hopefully I can fix this. Remember that we did allow it's prearranged. Council decided that it's prearranged speaker, then they would be able to interact with the council, and this has been prearranged.
Okay.
Ms. Emmons?
So this ask specifically covers kind of like bottom line operation for the website, which specifically has a business directory, promotes all the events in Oak Ridge, and serves as a tourism tool. So if you go to the website, go to navigation, it's all the things to do, talks about recreation, talks about businesses, services, things like that. There's very little in this budget to cover the cost of the people needed in order to keep the website going. There's nothing in this that's requesting any kind of salary for recruitment or anything like that. This is bottom line. This would like get us through the end of the year. Unfortunately, we've been limping along since the last part of December. And so we really don't have the $200 that's necessary for our IT person, which is due the first week of February, and another, I think it's a $700 insurance policy that's due the first part of February. So there are some things that unfortunately I don't have the exact numbers on those things that are due, but those are part of the basics that are not included in this cost that could be included in membership, but if there isn't the website in order to receive membership, I'm not sure how we would get that funding. So that's, we're just operating at a very bottom line. We've been asking for funds since December. So,
Any other questions, please?
So I actually did put a call into Jenna Kuzmano at the county very recently, and it was, I went over some of the expenses that the city of Oak Ridge has paid for out of RTMP dollars, and she did warn me that a lot of the expenses were not reimbursable by RTMP funds, and I went over the chamber especially. And she said that is not typical. The only thing that we could and should reimburse for the chamber is only things that are directly related to overnight stays. So a website, it could only be the portion that is directly related to overnight stays. That's really the mission, and that's where it has to go to. So although I do feel, you know, I would like to see the chamber go on, I still think that we need to make sure we're following the guidelines that the county has for this money. So I feel it's really important that we wait until the county is able to send a couple of people here to talk to us about those things. I think, and I did listen to the RTMP committee meeting, so I understand the hardship, and I also understand, you know, I listened to the ideas coming forward, but, you know, they just didn't seem to pass when I talked to them, that, you know, all the things that came forward, it really has to be only heads and beds. That's what it's really generated towards the money. And there are other things, like I know Dawn already pointed out, where another city is being sued over RTMP funds, and the circumstances might be a little different, but I do think there are a lot of red flags being raised with lots of city in this funding. And I think it's really critical that Oak Ridge stay within the guidelines and make sure that we know exactly what we're doing and that we're staying within those rules. So absolutely. I feel really
TRT funding, would that be?
It's both of RTMP and TRT. Really, TRT is the mother of RTMP. Okay. So it's all kind of the same. It all has to be very directly related to overnight stays. So I did take a look at the website. I've looked at the Facebook page, and really there's not a lot that's really, really about overnight stays.
I'd say we're in deep water already if that's the case. But any other comments or questions from councilors on this? All right, the motion was to table until the is it the second meeting of February?
Yeah.
Okay. Table this issue until the second meeting of February. Jackie, would you call for a vote, please?
Counselor Tarman,
Aye.
Counselor Brewer,
Aye.
Counselor Hollett,
Aye.
Counselor Bjornson,
Aye.
Counselor Kenyon,
Aye.
Mayor Cutchin.
Nay. All right, motion passes. On to item 12, that's business from the city administrator. 12.1, request for reconsideration of council's directives regarding committee resolutions. James?
All right, so we are coming back to this issue of recommendations that came out of the admin committee to restructure all the resolutions for all the committees. Council approved most of their recommendations except for 1 and 4, and then by default number 3. But this created an unforeseen problem with quorum voting by rejecting number 1. Recommendation number 1 was to remove counselor voting ability. That was the recommendation. Council said that they think the council representative should still be able to vote, but only in the event of a tie. However, that makes them a voting member, even though they can only vote in the tie. They're a voting member. So we reduced the number of citizens on a committee from 6 to 5, but we still have the counselor as a voting member, even though we can only vote in a tie. That means you have 6 voting members on the committee, which means you need 4 for quorum, 4 for vote, which means 4 out of those 5 citizens would have to attend every meeting, first of all, have a vote, and then if something passed at 3-0 vote, a couple people were absent. It wouldn't pass because you need 4 votes to pass something because of the quorum and voting requirements. So we had discussed this last night, the admin committee meeting, and Don can back me up here and hopefully explain things better than I just butchered it. Admin committee is still very much in favor of the recommendations that they made. We had a discussion about the issues. So a couple ways to fix this. The committee is recommending that council reconsider their decision and make it so councilors cannot vote in a committee, therefore they would not be considered a voting member. That would fix the issues we have. Numbers 1 and 3.
So as the way you described it, that would be option 2 in the agenda bill.
Thank you. Yes.
Yeah. All right. Do I hear a motion on this?
I move to rescind council's previous motion made on 11/2/23 regarding the administration advisory committee's recommendations for changes to committee resolutions.
All right. So I hear a second.
I'll second that.
Okay. Motion made by Councilor Kenyon, seconded by Councilor Brewer. Discussion, questions of staff by any councilor.
So this will get rid of all of it.
No, that resets us so that council can then reconsider.
Okay.
That's step 1 of the process. Right. This will rescind council's prior decision, which was to reject. Then there will probably be another motion, assuming this one passes, to make the correction. So this is just step 1.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay, Jackie, would you call for a vote? The motion was to move to rescind council's previous motion made on 11/2/23 regarding the Administrative Advisory Committee's recommendations for changes to committee resolutions.
Counselor Brewer,
Aye.
Counselor Bjornson,
Nay.
Counselor Hollett,
Aye.
Counselor Kenyon,
Aye.
Counselor Tarman,
Aye.
Mayor Cutchin.
Aye. Motion passes. Are there more motions to be made on this agenda bill or agenda item?
I move to accept all of the Administration Advisory Committee's recommendations for changes to committee resolutions.
Okay. Do I hear a second? All right, motion dies for lack of a second. Any other motions to be made here?
I would move that the council have a discussion to reconsider how they want to move forward on this topic.
I'll second that motion.
Okay. Any discussion on the motion to have a discussion?
Oh my gosh.
Aki, would you call for a vote, please?
Yes, who seconded the motion?
Counselor Hollett.
So you asked for discussion and there was no discussion?
No, you made a motion to have a discussion, so we have to take care of that motion before we have a discussion.
No, I thought motions always had a discussion before we vote.
No, motions do not have it. No, they have a discussion after you make the motion and you second it.
We would just be discussing, having a discussion.
But you're right. You're right. Thank you for acknowledging that. Okay, let's have a discussion. Let's do it.
Wait, did it pass though?
No.
No.
Okay, so, discussion.
This is the discussion of the idea to have a discussion.
Gotcha, okay, gotcha. I'm on board, sorry.
So what are we going to talk about having a discussion? Is there any discussion about having a discussion?
I have questions about the discussion.
About the motion?
The motion of the discussing itself. No, I just have questions about this whole thing during our discussion.
Let's just make it easier. Anyone opposed to having a discussion about this agenda item? All right, that motion passes. And so, yes, now we will go into the discussion that you desired to have. Councilor Kenyon, what would you like to talk about?
Well, when our committee met, I just wanted to reiterate that we did have a full meeting discussion, and the committee feels strongly about the portion where they want it to be where the counselor on the committee does not vote, because it gives the counselor 2 opportunities for voting. And more importantly, because they feel that counselors could sway the direction of the discussion and the whole voting process when they are able to vote, and they feel it would make them as citizens feel they could discuss more freely what their wishes are for recommending things to city councils. And everyone that was in there is in or on other committees as well. And it was mentioned that it's been discussed in other committees as well. There's more than just our committee that feels that way. So, and I agreed with them that I think they have a valid point, and the only way for all of these other recommendations to actually work is if the counselor is not considered a voting member. Otherwise, the council is going to have to sit down and figure out how to replace all of number 3 and all of number 4. Well, actually, number 4 is is not affected by how many are on the committee, but it is something that would need to be discussed because we would like direction on that committee, how to move forward to unify all of the resolutions.
Councilor Brewer.
I think that the committees are incredibly important. And if they feel really strongly about this, then I can understand that. My question is, how often does it actually happen to where a council member is brought to vote, like in a tie? I mean, I'm not asking for a number. I'm saying, does it happen a lot? Does it happen very few times? Does it happen a lot in the past? Are they just trying to axe it completely? They feel like it could be beneficial, but I also understand the quorum part and the lack of sometimes, not so much the library committee, but all the other committees, sometimes the community ebbs and flows with participation. So I get that part, but I feel like having like a fail-safe vote in your pocket in the event of a tie could be a good thing. But I can also understand how they feel it's double dipping on a voting basis. But if it doesn't happen that often, I'm just wondering why go through all the trouble of it. That's my question.
Yeah, and that's interesting because the committee didn't actually discuss that. However, I can give you a little history and that in the event of a tie part is fairly new to this, to all the committees.
Okay.
All the resolutions for committees were renewed in 2020. Most of them, all but 2 were in 2020, and then 2 of them were renewed in 2022, I believe. So that part where they only vote in the event of a tie is new. And I can say that on my own committee, it has not happened. I don't know about other committees.
I don't think it's very often.
Super rare. The problem is having them be a voting member. That just throws off form. So for, like I say, if we're reducing the number of citizens from 6 to 5, which council agreed with, you've got 5 citizens that can vote all the time. Then you put a counselor in there, means you need 4 to pass anything. You need 4 for quorum, which means 4 out of those 5 citizens have to be at every single meeting.
Yeah.
It really throws a wrench in.
Instead of with these new recommendations, it would be 3.
And I would bring anything to, if it was a tie, it would probably be a 2-2 tie.
Mm-hmm.
I'd still bring that to council, but say it was a 2-2 tie.
Okay.
Other discussion? Then I don't think a counselor should have the opportunity to vote twice on a single issue, in which this case they would if we allow them to have any kind of a vote, or even in the case of a tie. But with that said, if there's nothing else, is there any more motions to be made on this agenda item?
I'll make a motion.
Okay.
I move to accept all of the administration advisory committee's recommendations for changes to committee resolutions.
I'll second that.
All right. Motion made by Councilor Brewer, seconded by Councilor Kenyon. Any more discussion on that?
I just have a clarification. Does that mean counselor can still participate in conversation and as the committee, just simply not voting?
Okay. James, your recommendation, the staff recommendation on that was move to accept all those recommendations except for recommendations 3 and 4, and that wasn't part of this motion. Is that going to affect the outcome?
I think that might have been my error.
Yeah. Okay. Any more discussion on this? Jack, could you call for a vote, please?
Councilor Tarman.
Aye.
Councilor Kenyon.
Aye.
Mayor Cutchin.
Aye.
Councilor Brewer.
Aye.
Councilor Bjornson.
Nay.
Councilor Hollett.
Aye.
All right, motion passes. Thank you. Next up is 12.2, which is other city business updates and issues, James.
All right, at the last meeting, council asked me to report back regarding costs for Green Hill for taking in dogs. Chief Martin got a quote on that. The cost the city flat fee of $250 plus $25 per day to turn in a dog to Green Hill. Other part was to see what Lane County Animal Services would charge us, like they have a contract with Westford. That's still being investigated, so happy to do that. Hopefully by next week.
Councilor Kenyon.
James, isn't it true that our city already has a program in place for holding dogs in Oak Ridge?
We do, yes. We have 4 kennels. We our treatment center. But my understanding with the direction from council in the last meeting, they wanted this after Trudy Hammond's speech. It's all it could come about. It's good to know what the process, but if we got 5 dogs, if one would have to go somewhere.
What other questions of James on this? Please.
I would be curious what the cost would be working with Lane County Animal Control like Lowell does, to see if that's something Chief Martin is even interested in doing. But I would be interested to know what how much we would utilize it and how much we would need to set in the budget for that.
Yeah, that's what Chief Martin is working on, finding that out. Because every city's different. Lane County charges drastically different rates. Or that's depending how far they have to drive, etc. So Westford does have a contract starting point, but obviously Chief Martin needs to asking the question to Lane County Animal Services. They have crunch the numbers and they'll get back to them.
Do you mean to like contract Lane County instead of having our own police do our animal control?
We don't have very much animal control here, do we? No. So
well, I mean, we have, if someone calls the police respond if they're not on something else.
Well, it depends. So they don't necessarily do every type of, like, for instance, down at the river, there's only so much the officers can do.
True, and that's just based on state laws. Like if they're investigating animal neglect, and they go down there and there's food and water, and the dog is not skin and bones, and there's no probable cause to charge that crime.
So do we not have a need for animal control?
No, we absolutely have a need for animal control, and we do it. But if we contracted with Animal Services to have them come up however many days we want per month, that's all they do. That's an option. It's going to cost money.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we're trying to figure out. It's going to be free.
Any other questions on this?
So when they're out in the kennels, who takes care of the dogs out there?
The police officers, they go and check them at least twice a day. And then Public Works is there, like during the week, they will a lot of times let them out, run around, but there's an exterior fence that they have some time. It's not a great place to be, you know.
I was just curious, like, and then what? Like,
we haven't run into it in a long time, but and Chief Martin may have more memory of this than I do, but I can't remember the last time we had to turn over a dog to Green Hill. It's been a while, but that's where the $250 fee would come in. Like if it's a random dog, we have no idea who owns it.
Yeah, we
will hold it for 10 days or whatever, then give it to Green Hill. So that's $250.
I can we have pretty much figured it out. Like, for instance, we haven't used Green Hill in a long time because I don't know what they currently do. That'll be a conversation, but in the past they kept the dogs for 10 days and then put them to sleep. So on my own dime, I've taken 3 dogs back up to where I used to work, to a no-kill shelter. And we've also found local people that have helped foster or eventually adopted. We've adopted dogs out. A lot of times the most common occurrence is we get a dog that is at large, and then through social media or the police department, somebody figures out their dog's out and they come in and recover their dog. So that's our most common animal control occurrence. And we've had a case as extreme with the Humane Society of Oregon actually has special agents that have helped us in the past. We had a case during the 2 years ago fires where we seized a bunch of dogs. And that case, actually, we got a lot of assistance from the special agents from Animal Oregon Humane Society, which is based out of Portland. So we've had pigs before, but we've always seemed to figure it out. So.
Okay. Any other business, James, for the city administrator?
Well, I was going to mention today, went to this conference on industrial lands. There's some great incentive programs out there right now to move industrial parks that I'm very excited about. To be continued. It's a good day.
There was a flyer at the end of the packet. Do you want to? Is that something we should bring up right now?
Sure. Yeah. Thank you. The school district now has a DHS caseworker on staff, and she has put together a meeting in conjunction with the Arthur Lane County every fourth Thursday of the month, 12 to 1:30 at the high school mental health room. It's going to be a place basically for all kind of social services and community leaders to get together and discuss make the city a better place and how to share resources. So she's got a lot of energy, and I encourage folks to go check it out.
Okay. Thank you. All right, moving on to item 14, which is ordinances and resolutions with public comment. 14.1 is resolution 01-2024, a resolution finalizing the sale of the Verizon lease to TowerPoint LLC. James.
All right, so as council will recall, they approved the sale of the lease to TowerPoint back on November 16th, $433,000. Since then, myself, Matt Dahlstrom, our city attorney, has been working with PowerPoint attorneys, finalize the details of the contract. One small hiccup that we encountered was that the title company is requiring a resolution be passed approving the sale. They said the minutes weren't specific enough, basically. So they wanted a resolution. So we've drafted this resolution that was for sale. Of course, it mentions that it was already approved on 16th of November. So I would encourage councilors to keep that in mind when they're voting on this. So we're not, this isn't a vote. This isn't a second vote on the same issue to authorize the sale or not. This is a vote on the resolution to approve the contract details for the sale. So you obviously want to vote any way you want, but consider it that way if you're looking at it in are the terms of the contract. You know, for the resolution of that, not necessarily the underlying issue.
Yes. Do I hear a motion on this? Okay.
I move to approve the first reading of resolution 1-2024, finalizing the sale of the Verizon lease to PowerPoint.
Do I hear a second?
One second.
All right, motion made by Councilor Tarman, second by Councilor Brewer. Discussion, questions, anything for James? As James said, you know, it is the council already made, the council majority already made the decision to sell the lease, which in their wisdom, which in my mind still does use taking a lump sum payout of a valuable resource to patch up budget and deficit before it's even repaired. But since council has made that decision, we'll stand by it, and I'm in support of this resolution. So James, I guess we need to go to a vote, and then we'll read it How's that? Unless there's more discussion. All right, Jackie, would you call for a vote, please?
Counselor Brewer,
Aye.
Counselor Bjornson,
Aye.
Counselor Tarman,
Aye.
Counselor Kenyon,
Nay.
Counselor Hollett,
Aye.
Mayor Cutchin.
Aye. Motion passes. James, you want to read the resolution, please?
Sure.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Resolution number 01-2024, a resolution approving the execution of the easement agreement by and between the city of Oak Ridge and TPA V11 PowerPoint Associates LLC, a Delaware limited liability company, and authorizing the city administrator of the city of Oak Ridge to sign said master lease agreement on behalf of the city of Oak Ridge to execute all closing documents related to such master lease agreement. Whereas, pursuant to the provisions of ORS 271.390 and the Oak Ridge City Charter, the city of Oak Ridge has the authority to purchase, lease, cede, hold, and enjoy real property, and further have the authority to control, lease, sublease, convey, or otherwise dispose of real property. And whereas, pursuant to the provisions of the Oak Ridge City Charter, the city administrator is granted authority to sign written contracts entered into by the city and the authority to sign all advances made by the city. Further, the city administrator is authorized to acknowledge the execution of all instruments executed by the city which require acknowledgement. And whereas on the 16th day of November 2023, the city council of the city of Oak Ridge approved the sale of its interest in telecommunications lease agreement arising to Tower Point Acquisition LLC, and authorized the city administrator to enter negotiations with PowerPoint to finalize the sale by granting telecommunications master lease as to the city's interest in the existing cell tower site located at 76236 Fish Hatchery Road, Oregon. And whereas the city administrator is negotiating the terms of a master lease agreement for the site and have executed a letter of intent dated November 20th, 2023. With Tower Point Acquisitions LLC to transfer the city's interest in the site to TPA V11 LLC. Now therefore here be resolved and ordered by the City Council of the City of Oak Ridge, Oregon as follows. Section 1, the Council of the City of Oak Ridge hereby approve the execution of the master lease agreement by and between the City of Oak Ridge and TPA V11 LLC, a Delaware limited liability company in the form presented. Section 2, the city administrator of the city of Oak Ridge, James Clevenger, is hereby authorized to execute said master lease agreement on behalf of the city of Oak Ridge. Section 3, the city administrator of the city of Oak Ridge, James Clevenger, is hereby authorized to execute on behalf of the city of Oak Ridge all closing documents required to close the transaction described in the master lease agreement and the letter of intent. Section 4, the provisions of this resolution shall become effective immediately upon adoption. Now therefore be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Oak Ridge that this resolution be adopted in its entirety, passed by the City Council of the City of Oak Ridge this blank date of January 2024, including signed by the mayor, City of Oak Ridge, this blank date of January 2024.
Thank you, James. And I guess we should expect a special session.
Yes, so I since resolutions require 2 meetings, unless it's unanimous in the first, which this was not. I'm suggesting the executive session be next Wednesday, January 24th at 6 p.m.
Executive session?
Sorry, special session. For the second reading of this issue.
They think we can get a quorum on that day in time. Good, Councilor Brewer?
Yeah.
Councilor Pancho? No? Yeah.
What was the date?
24th at 6 p.m.
And the reason it has to be done by the end of this month is because that's the funding, that's how the funding is set up.
Councilor Kenyon, will you be able to make that? Yeah. Councilor Bernardson, is that okay with you?
Yes.
Thank you. All right, we'll move on then. Next is item 16. That's the department staff or board committee commission reports. 16.1 is the finance report. James or Colleen?
Yes, so our assist system is literally falling apart. It's not updating. Luckily, we're already in the process of moving things over to Excel, so that's a process, but the finance report is not available, and so I'm just going to put it on the next.
As a counselor with oversight of the budget, I feel like I'm in a cloud with no attitude gyro or altimeter. Does the staff know where we are financially, or have our expenditures exceeded our revenues? Where are we on the budget, and do you have a warm fuzzy on this?
No, we're doing okay. The system is like stuff that's just sticking, it's not coming through. So of course I have to wait for them to get back to me. They have to send me this file, download it, push everything through. So it's just a timing thing again. So as soon as I get that up, I will send you guys out.
Okay.
It doesn't have to wait till the next meeting. I'll send you guys my report.
So we're not gonna violate Oregon budget law.
We still have the money in the bank.
Yeah, we're good.
All right, any other questions about the finance report before we move on? 16.2 is the police report. Chief Martin.
Yeah, Mayor and council and citizens. Before I start the report, after you guys talked about the speed, or the citizen talked about the speed calming, I sent you guys all some data from National Traffic Highway Commission. It's pretty interesting. It has all kinds of different traffic calming things so if you want to go look at that, I send that to you guys in an email. And then also ODOT has some of that information and data as well. And there's a little bit harder to find on their website because it's kind of all over the place. But the National Traffic Safety Commission has an outline and a bunch of data on there. Different types of calming and then data for each of them. So it's kind of an interesting read if you guys want to go look at that. And with that, first I'll give the year stats. So for 2023, we had a total of 284 case reports and 3,417 incident reports. And then going back to December, we had 270 case reports, and that is a typo on the incident reports. So I'm going to have to check that because it's the same number. So I'll have to go back and check that. Westford, we had 13 case reports and 163.7. Oh, excuse me. I'll have to go back here. I'm backwards on my stats here. So I'll start over. So for Oak Ridge for 2023, the case reports are 270 with 2,967 incident reports. And then Westford is 13 case reports, 202 incident reports, and 163.75 contract hours. And then Lowell, we had 1 case report and 248 incident reports and 578.75 contract hours. And then for court fines, Oak Ridge Municipal Court, we had $164,967. Lowell, we had $12,260. And the Lane County Circuit Court is pending. We had to get some data from them, and they've been kind of slow with the holidays and the weather. Questions?
Councilor Kenyon, go ahead.
My question was on the contract hours, specifically for the monthly report, not necessarily the annual, but do these reflect the amount of time that different officers spent in that area, or is this the amount of time it took for these reports that?
So the Westford contract hours that's how much time an officer spent patrolling, going to a call, typing a report, any associated administrative time. So that's all of the above.
Okay.
And then Lowell's a little different because some of it counts drive time.
Oh, okay.
And also the patrol time, report time.
Now, do you know off the top of your head what our do we have a certain amount of time in our contract every month that we agree to provide, or?
Yes, Lowell is 40 hours. In Westford, there is no longer an hour requirement. It's just we basically answer calls in Westford.
Okay. Thank you.
Councilor Holland?
So under your court fines, I see there's the top number and then there's the bottom number, much larger. Are they different? 164, or that's year to date for last year?
Yes.
Okay, so is this what you bill out, or is this what actually is the revenue?
We don't deal with the court side. That's under James. So all we do is write the tickets, and then the court bills the other part.
So
I don't have court data. I have police department data.
It's the possible maximum fine. So like, you read the newspaper, somebody gets arrested, and they can face up to 10 years in jail and up to $250,000 fine.
Well, I'm curious, like, is this number accurate to say I billed Linda for $1,000 fine? Is she actually paying the $1,000 fine, or is this only $30 of that?
So that's the fight. So the Oak Ridge Municipal Court and the Lowell Municipal Court, that is the actual ticket amounts that the officers have written. Okay. So that depends on convictions and if they pay a full amount, or that's all the court stuff, but that's the amount of the bail on the tickets. The Wayne County Circuit Court, that one's pending because that's more of the criminal arrests. So typically the criminal arrest, the bail is $6,250 or something to that effect, but the bails don't go on those tickets till afterwards because the judges set those. So we don't have any choice in that really with the misdemeanor stuff, because and typically what we send to circuit court is DUIs, some of the other criminal traffic.
Okay, thank you.
Councilor Kenyon?
On your report, you're doing the calendar year 2023, right? Not fiscal year?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Anyone else? No? Thank you, Chief. Moving on to Oak Ridge Fire Department. Chief Follett, are you online? Hit a call.
He was sick today, so I think he was going to message you. Maybe he didn't.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Did duty. So
okay, we'll come back to that, or send them questions if you have anything that pops out on the report that you want to send the CA a question about. Moving on is Public Works.
All right. Council, Mayor, and citizens. So Public Works for the month of December distributed 17.7 million gallons of water, 23.3 million gallons of wastewater treated, 21 service orders, 9 locates, no wastewater repairs, no water leaks, other tasks performed, park maintenance, leaf removal, pothole repairs, and gravel shoulders of roadways, hillside drainage maintenance, read water meters and dealt with delinquent accounts, entered data in the lead and copper document for mandatory reporting. BEQ is due in October and this will continue until completed. Push brush pile for the brush and debris mitigation and remove fallen tree from Sunny Nook. Collected and drained and replaced buckets of water from the Willamette Activity Center roof leaking. And then for the end of year stats, water distributed was 225,525,000 gallons. Wastewater treated was 157,391,000 gallons. Biosolid applied was 379,664 gallons. 357 service orders, 156 locates, 3 wastewater repairs, 25 water leaks. The highest temperature was 104 degrees on July 5th and July 17th, and August 16th. Lowest temp 17 degrees on January 30th, and total precipitation was 51.9 inches. And this report's brought to you by our maintenance supervisor, Robert Christian.
You get trapped by the tree falling on Sunny Nook?
I did not, I actually literally like just went past it and then. No, I didn't.
Lucky.
Yeah, it was very lucky. It was very lucky.
Right. So that's the staff update. 17 is other business.
One matter, I just wanted to public record of it, that Councilor Coker's absence is excused. There was a family matter. She was gonna try to make it late, but I just told her not to work.
Okay, anything else?
That's it.
All right. All right, item 18 is public comment on the Zoom. Any public comment on the Zoom? Ms. Hammond, please.
Hi guys, it's me again, and I just wanted to let you know I can email you this, James, if you want the information. But Carrie Lieberman and Sasha Elliott are the contacts to discuss what the euthanization process is. But I can tell you that it does take 3 managers to euthanize in agreement, and they don't euthanize for space anymore. It's a quality of life. Then there's also Heather Nelson, who is the treasurer on their board of directors, who might be a good contact to ask regarding any kind of an agreement. And we did close on the Safety Animal Center did close on the property purchase. So we now have 1/3 of an acre, and we are hopefully getting our fence up by or before March, and can possibly house additional lost and found dogs until we can find the owners. And I definitely am a no-kill. So unfortunately, I've only had 2 dogs that were euthanized, and that was because they bit myself, the vet, and the vet tech. And both of those dogs were discussed among the legal staff of those clinics, and I was not allowed to bring them home. But I am here for the services for Oak Ridge community as the Safety Animal Center, and thank you for your time. I appreciate it, your research, and all for figuring out what we can do for animal services in Oak Ridge. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for your comments. That's good news about the shelter. Any other public comment in the room or on the Zoom? All right, nothing heard. Motion to adjourn.
I so moved.
All right, meeting's adjourned at 7:27.
It's a record.
Yeah, last meeting was.
Yeah, what was the last meeting?
It was like at 7:10 or something.